Seems like everywhere you look these days, folks are trying to be a little more eco-conscious,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
like in all parts of life, right?
Yeah.
But have you ever stopped to think about all the stuff, like the promotional items that companies give out?
Oh, yeah.
What about the environmental impact of that? Well, today we're going to deep dive into how businesses can make that kind of merch more sustainable
Right.
without, sacrificing their brand impact or any of that stuff.
Right.
Our guide today is this article: 5 ways to choose sustainable branded merchandise that aligns with your brand values.
Catchy title.
I'm sad to see what it says.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like we see so much of this, like, just cheap, disposable stuff,
Yeah, totally. And it feels like things are finally moving away from that, which is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing this article emphasizes, too.
Okay.
Instead of just giving out some little trinket that ends up in the trash a week later,
Right.
why not give people something that's going to last? Something durable, high quality.
Yeah, something they'll actually use.
Exactly. Like a really nice stainless steel water bottle or a well-made, organic cotton tote bag.
Exactly. Things that, honestly, you probably already use yourself,
Yeah, for sure.
and appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about creating items that people will value and want to hold on to.
Right.
And that can make such a huge difference in how much waste we create.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of this comes down to the materials.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some of the materials that companies, and honestly, all of us, really should be looking for if we want to make good eco-conscious choices?
Absolutely. You're totally right. Material choice is like the foundation here.
Yeah.
So think about the things you typically see with sustainable merch. Recycled plastic,
Okay.
organic cotton, bamboo, cork. These are all things you probably see in your everyday life.
Right.
But let's actually think about why they're such good choices for this kind of thing. Recycled plastic, well, it's giving a second life to materials that otherwise would just be polluting the environment,
Okay.
right? With organic cotton, you're cutting out the need for harmful pesticides, which is better for the planet and the people growing it.
Yeah.
And then bamboo and cork, they're both rapidly renewable resources, so you can harvest them without, damaging the environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. But how can you be sure a company is really committed to all of this, and not just trying to
Yeah.
cash in on the eco-friendly trend?
Greenwashing, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always obvious just from looking at a product, right?
Right. It's not always obvious. And that's where certifications come in. If a company is serious about this stuff,
Right.
they'll usually have certifications to prove it.
Okay, like what kind of certifications?
So you've got things like Fair Trade,
Uh-huh.
FSC, that's the Forest Stewardship Council,
Okay.
and GOTS, the Global Organic Textile Standard. Those are some of the big ones.
So what do those tell you about? Like,
Right. So these basically ensure that the products are being sourced and made responsibly.
okay.
So, for example, like that FSC label that guarantees the wood they used is from responsibly managed forests.
Okay.
And then, GOTS, that ensures that textiles are made with organic fibers and also that everyone who made them was treated fairly.
Okay, so it's kind of like proof that they're actually living up to their values.
Exactly. It's all about transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
So you, as the consumer, you can make a more informed decision.
Right, right. So speaking of products,
Yeah.
I love the idea of products that actually help you reduce waste, right, in your daily life.
Yeah.
Like, what if branded merchandise encouraged people to adopt better habits?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it actually helped?
You're so right. And this article highlights some really cool examples like reusable straws,
Okay, yeah.
compostable phone cases,
Interesting.
and even notebooks that are made out of plantable seed paper. So you use the notebook, and then you can actually plant the cover and watch it grow.
That's so cool.
Right. It's such a fun way to get people thinking differently
Yeah,
and to show them that sustainability can actually be fun and engaging.
for sure.
I got a reusable water bottle at a conference a while back,
Yeah.
and it's become my go-to, I hardly ever buy single-use plastic bottles anymore.
Yeah, I feel like those little changes can really add up.
They really can. It's amazing.
Speaking of impactful changes,
Yeah.
the article also talks about keeping branding minimal and thoughtful. Why is that important for sustainability?
Well, think about it. A big logo usually means more ink,
Okay,
more material, and ultimately a bigger environmental footprint.
that makes sense.
But with minimalist branding, you can use techniques like laser engraving or embroidery.
Yeah.
And those are really cool because they look stylish,
Uh-huh.
And they're super durable, so they last a lot longer. Plus, there's just something classic about a subtly branded item, you know? People are less likely to throw it away when the trend changes.
So it's about creating something that people will actually cherish and want to use for a long time.
Exactly. It's about, making sure your aesthetic is in line with the values of sustainability.
Right. So for everyone listening, the big takeaway here is that even small choices can make a real difference.
Absolutely.
And when companies put effort into making their merchandise sustainable, it's a really strong way for them to show that they care about the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And for you as a consumer, when you choose those products, you're not just getting something cool.
Yeah.
You're supporting a company that shares your values.
That's such a good point.
So what are your final thoughts?
I'd encourage everyone listening to think about the everyday items they use. A coffee mug, a notebook, a water bottle, whatever.
Yeah.
Think about how those could be reimagined as sustainable, branded merchandise that people would actually want.
That's a great question.
Right. Because we all have the power to make choices that are good for us and good for the planet.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Wow, that flew by.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Until next time, keep those eco-conscious choices in mind.
For sure.